A major shakeup is set to change the high school sports scene, with GDOE electing to remove itself from the IIAAG no later than January 2020, a decision made last week Tuesday. In less than 24 hours from that decision, the IIAAG held its end-of-the-year meeting, electing new president and FD Friars wrestling coach and interim AD, Terry DeBold. DeBold has only been at the helm for a week, but he's been busy trying to handle the looming GDOE departure from the IIAAG. We caught up with Terry to get insight on what the future looks like for the IIAAG and the reality of having two leagues.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it's definitely an honor. I think that it's kind of an overwhelming honor when you're used to just participating primarily in high school sports. And I've been involved in high school sports for a better part of almost 4 decades. But I'm isolated to the high school participation. Then I realized stepping into this office, IIAAG represents the interscholastic athletic body. In other words, that encompasses both middle school and high school. And I think there's a lot of middle schools out there. And working together with the middle school president, I think that the responsibility is it's overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot to do. I'm just fortunate that I have a lot of individuals that I've already spoken to over the past week they're truly passionate. They're passionate about giving these kids, all the students and all of the members, an opportunity to participate. I think it was, of course, I was happy to meet with Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Joseph Sanchez. I think it was kind and cordial that the two organizations finally, after all this time, have come together as independent bodies. This was not by any means a formal meeting. This was more of kind of a goodwill, hey, let's get together and just have an initial conversation. And I think it just kind of formalized what the media has already presented out there. And we didn't really articulate any decisions going forward. I think DOE still has a lot of work to do in terms of what their plans are. We did reiterate the fact that IIAAG, on the other hand, is going to proceed forward as we have in the past 20 years, and that the schedules are out. And again, the purpose is that we have members. We have members that it's a membership organization, and that despite a good number of these members, let's just say DOE, our members from DOE withdrawing, we still have a responsibility to the members, and most especially to the students, the student athletes that participate in sports. I continue to offer reassurance to all of our members that sports are going to continue to proceed as they always have, perhaps with a change in schedule. But at this point, a lot of it is somewhat undecided. I mean, it's the beginning of the summer. We have 3 months, maybe a few months before the next school year. There's a lot of thinking to do. I think that there's meetings that need to take place within the membership as to how we're going to proceed forward. We are going to proceed forward, but I think just to make sure that things are all set, everything is set in place in the interest of the kids. I mean, to me, honestly, it's despite the withdrawal of some of our members, it's the path forward. I'd like to still think that we can continue to grow the organization, that we can look at other ways to make the organization better, maybe advancing in technology, advancing in activities, advancing just in a number of different ways. Not to say that the ways in the past haven't been good. They have, but I mean, you have to continue to progress with you have to progress in sports. Constant. I mean, it's constant. I think it's a matter of growth, training, instruction, opportunities. All of those things have to be taken into consideration for the IIAAG members. And I can only speak for IIAAG. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've spoken to our members, and there's no intent on going any other direction. So IIAAG, we have a strong foundation, and we have our rules, our regulations. We also have the NFHS rules that help guide our sports, which is nationally recognized. So it's nice to be consistent with national level high school sports, prep sports. We also have the support. We've always had the support of the community in some of the more unique sports like rugby, paddling, those kind of things. And we want to maintain the partnership and the alliance that we have with some of those entities as well. I think I haven't heard that any of those relationships are changed in any ways. I mean, we still maintain a strong, good relationship with them. So I just try to remain focused on the positive of the IIAAG, and I hope to be able to contribute so that we can become, we can help do even more for our kids. Not knowing what is really going to materialize on the DOE interscholastic side, it would be purely speculation at this point. I mean, of course, everybody in this island wants to see all of the kids have an opportunity to compete against each other. It just makes sense to do that. But at this point, we don't know. I mean, there's a lot of kind of questions out there, I think even from the general public, as to how their league is going to, how it's going to go forward. As far as what we do know is the IIAAG side in terms of our sports schedule right now is, as of now, it's status quo. I mean, a lot of things could happen between the now and the beginning of the next school year. So I think it's kind of premature for us to talk about it. I'd like to think, and I think that we share, if there's one thing we share in common, is the interest in making sure that the kids have an opportunity to compete. And today's meeting, again, we kind of reiterated that I'm sure that, well, we know for a fact there's going to be 2 leagues at this point. The vote was made, IIAAG's to here. So I don't think nobody can deny the fact that there's going to be 2 separate leagues sometime during the next school year. We don't know when. No later than means it could happen earlier or later. But there's going to be 2 leagues. As far as interleague competition, I wouldn't see why we wouldn't try to make that work. At this point, though, I can't give any details because I don't know what schedules would be out there. For all intents and purposes, the seasons of certain sports could differ. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many questions right now. But yeah, I'm sure that I'd like to think, and I'm certainly going to be a proponent of somehow establishing some interleague type of competition. Again, I don't want to speculate, although I do keep a very positive outlook for as to the possible opportunities. I'm going to be looking for the silver lining in this matter, for opportunities for our kids to get good competition. And I hope, I hope this works out for their side. And I think one of the problems has been lack of participation at some of the schools, and I don't know what the reasoning would be. Hopefully this goes on their side. As far as the IIAAG side, it's something that we're going to have to visit this during the course of the summer. But yeah, it's something we're definitely going to look at during the course of the summer, and I'm sure we're going to come up with some exciting ideas.
The ongoing situation between the IIAAG and GDOE will continue to take shape in the coming months, and at this point, it's become a wait-and-see scenario until an actual plan is in order. We'll have more news on this developing story as more information unfolds.